Welcome to Atlanta. Price is Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
In here, but this is about an oppressive, fucked up system designed to keep niggas down and shit. Y'all wouldn't know nothing about that. What about you, little nigga? You know about that?
Yes.
Oh, you know about that? Tell me what you know about that. Tell me what you think about that.
I turn up when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, you gon' find me in the field. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. I go hard when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, find me in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel. Belly of the beast, we been living in hell. They like, damn Kai, how could you tell? Put us in the project, set us up to fail. Round here, bullets be flying like hell. Too many of my niggas either dead or in jail. Make a nigga work when you locked in a cell. Can't find work when you out on bail, but your homie got the work, so we passed you a scale. Got them birds like the Bible got quail. Niggas selling out cause they mama got bills. Turning to coons like Oprah and Gail. How you sell your soul just to get a little kale? They put you in a dress when you get a record deal. Wanna see a nigga getting high on pills? You can dance on a pole, you can sell that tail, but they never tell a nigga that he can go to Yale. We all created equal, that's white males. All lives matter, not black males. Another mother crying, another coffin got a nail. How many brothers out here got killed? How many of our sisters out here gotta heal? How many more caps gotta get peeled? We beef with each other so quick to pull the steel. George Zimmerman still alive and well. I turn up when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, you can find me in the field. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. I go hard when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, find me in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel. I turn up when it's real in the field. Feel. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Feel. Light-skinned nigga, you can find me in the field. Feel. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. Chill. Yo, chill!
Prison Industrial Complex is a system situated at the intersection of government.
Shalom, shalom. Y'all by Shimmy Awashah Brakatham. Y'all wish more all the thumb by Shimmy Awashah. You in live priest Captain NATAZACH NASHAH, the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. You understand in this biblical scripture breakdown class. We're here to get it on the scripture breakdown class. Tonight we're talking about who are the Israelites? Who are the children of God? Who are they? According to the world, everybody is a child of God. That's what we've been taught our whole lives growing up. Of course, we know here in the truth that is absolutely not true. You understand? Who are the children of God? We're in there. Let's see if we got any questions in the room first. And we do. A breakdown. Officer NATAZACH Rodney, the breakdown of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 50. So like chapter 5 and verse 8. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8. All right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Okay. Everybody, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. Hey, shalom. The Isupk Biblical Scripture Breakdown from Virginia. You understand? Y'all in Virginia, call the school in Virginia, 757-550-1204. Biblical Scripture Breakdown class. Hey, shalom, what that is. All right. Let's see, Isaiah. My readers at 5 and 8. Get some readers up here. Isaiah, yep, right here. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8. Bring your biblical scripture breakdown questions. We're talking about tonight, who are the children of God? The Christian church teaches everybody is a child of God, the God of the Bible. Everybody's a child of God. When you open the Bible, everyone is not a child of God. The Bible gets very specific as to who God said are his children. You understand? So now we're going to get our first question. Officer NATAZACH says Isaiah chapter 5, verse 8. Everybody make sure you hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. You understand? All right. So it says Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8 says, woe. Woe is Old Quaker English that means destruction. It says, woe unto them that join house to house, that join house to house and lay field to field. Contrary to what the Christian church teaches, God does not want everybody together. He doesn't want everybody together. He doesn't want everybody joined in a rainbow push coalition, everybody holding hands and kumbaya the way you've been taught in church. God does not want that. God wants holiness. The word holy means separate. God wants separation. You don't want all people coming together. You understand? That's never been God's thing. The Christian church was against that. Salakia, be able to. All right, well, just get on up here. Come on, Most High in Christ. Come on up. Let's get this reading, Isaiah. All right, 5 and 8. Oh, there we go. All right. Shalom, Shimshon Isaiah chapter 5. Newly officer, Yabakar, Yahweh Shimshon everybody give a hand.
Shalom, y'all about shooting y'all trying to thumb.
Passes the officer's test, ready to get in there. All right, Most High in Christ. Okay. So go ahead, Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8. Let's get that.
Come.
All right.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 8. Woe unto them that join house to house.
The Lord said,
That
woe
lady,
unto them that join house to house. See, right when you see that comma, you want to pause so we can break that down. Woe unto them that join house to house. The Lord is not about all houses coming together, all people coming together. That is the opposite of what it means to be holy. The scriptures say the Lord is holy. Be ye therefore holy, because I, the Lord, your power, am holy. The Lord don't want all houses joined together. You understand? I'm right. All right. So keep going.
that lay field to field.
That lay field to field, that join all the resources together, all the land together. God intended from the very beginning for all people to be separate. You understand? That's what the book of Genesis was about. God flooded the earth and took the lives of everyone except for 8 people because there was interracial marriage. Because the children of God the sons of Adam, who was the Lord's chosen people, made wives. They made children with the daughters of men. The daughters of men were the other people who were not the children of God. That's why we're talking about that tonight. God is against interracial marriage. He did not want that. That angers God. You understand? The Lord don't want all fields being joined together. Keep going.
Till there be no place
It said that
that they
till there be no place. Go ahead.
that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth.
That they may be placed alone in the middle of the earth. You understand? As a matter of fact, skip up and go up to verse 7.
Come.
Go up to Salakia. Bear with me just a moment. Damn. Because I always mess up my breakdown. These deep questions, usually you and a call support. These deep questions. The whole chapter is just so good. I'm gonna try not to give the whole chapter. The Lord is equating. Okay, give me verse 1. We're gonna start at verse 1 and we're gonna skip around a little bit because this is very heavy.
Come.
All right.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved.
Hold on 1 second. You got to break down. You
Come.
got to stop when you see commas, the period, the punctuation. Said a song touching my beloved, meaning something the Lord loves very much. You understand? I got my teeth. All right, keep going.
Touching his vineyard.
Touching his vineyard. He's referring to not your grapes and your wine and the things that you grow in a literal vineyard. The Lord gonna tell you what it's talking about. My well-beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, talking about the children of Israel multiplying in the earth that he loves very much. All right. Go ahead and finish that scripture, Brother Kishar.
Come. My beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill.
He has a vineyard, meaning something in the middle of a hill. Like, just imagine he's giving a demonstration, or just picture this. All right. You got a vineyard. It's growing. You got crops. You got your trees. All these things is growing there. And then you got one that you love very much. It's your favorite. You love this. It's growing your best crops. Yeah, you got strawberries. Yeah, you got string beans because they grow on the vine. You got string beans. You got butter beans. You got green beans. You got peas growing in your pod. You got tomatoes hanging up on the trellis, cucumbers on the trellis. So you got to know something about farming in order to understand much of the Bible. Our people's number one things that we did so well was, one of them was agriculture. That's why the tribe of Issachar is feeding all of America. In the fields, working the crops, picking the fields, filling up all the produce in the grocery store. Our tribes did that in Egypt. We also do that here in America. You understand? That's why they in such fear about it being food shortages, because President Dummy is deporting all the people that pick and grow all the food and fill up the grocery store. You understand? So in the middle of all of this vineyard and all of your wonderful crops that's growing, all of the nations that's everywhere and they're flourishing, there's one that's the Lord's favorite. It's special to him. It means something to him. And we are the Lord's favorite. You understand? This is what he's talking about. Keep going.
Come. Verse 2. And he fenced it.
And he fenced it. The Lord took what he loved the most and he put it in a fence. If you don't put your favorite crops in a fence, anybody that knows something about farming, you got to be a little country know about farming. You understand? The Jews is black. Y'all might not be all that country to know about farming, but this is what our forefathers did. They didn't get the Africans. They don't know about farming. They're not big farmers over there in Africa. That's why once we left, Africa started to starve. We came to America with nothing and fed everybody. We're the reason that Europeans stopped starving all the way up to the 1800s because we grew their food. We grew their crops. We grew their cotton, their sugar cane, their onions and potatoes and rice, and made all of their food. They were eating rats and all kind of garbage coming out of Europe, getting all kind of diseases. We washed them, cleaned them, fed them, educated them, civilized them, and now they can live longer and got rid of the infant mortality rate. You understand? We are the Lord's prized possession, and he put a fence around it. That's why when you go to Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2, the scriptures say Judah mourneth. It says the real biblical ethnic Jews are in a state of mourning. They are black unto the ground, meaning different shades of brown, but the real Jews are in a constant state of mourning. And the gates, the fence, the protection, the barrier, the boundaries that is around the Lord's prized vineyard, which is the nation of Israel, is weak, is languished, is falling down, it's broken apart. That's what the scriptures is talking about. All right. So go ahead.
And gathered out the stones thereof.
He had to gather out the stones. The part that's going to destroy the garden, you got to get rid of those because they'll choke the crops. This is why Christ used the parable of the sower. Who remembers the parable of the sower in the book of Matthew that Christ talked about? It's a strong boy. Who remembers the parable of the sower that Christ talked about? Nobody. Officer Yabakar, do you recall what I'm talking about? You remember the parable of the sower?
La, sir.
All right. Shemaga Bar, Sister Anna, Sister Raya, you remember the parable of the sower? Tower Ba, okay, you don't. Most High in Christ, all right, you don't. All right. Sister Shakal, Tazarai, all right. The Bara, who else in here? Shemaiah Bar, do you remember the parable of the sower? Okay, Yagadar remembers. All right, of course, Paul remembers. All right. Well, anyway, let me just summarize it. The parable of the sower was talking about, it was a parable, which is a riddle that's talking about when the spirit of the Most High, you being taught. And it's just like what we do at camp. When it comes time for you to learn what's in the Bible, many people aren't able to learn it because they have different things that come up and they use that the seed gets planted. They learn they're Israelites. They learn that we're God's chosen people. They learn all of these things, but in comes the wicked one to take away what they just heard, what they just learned. In comes somebody to say that ain't right. Color don't matter. Race don't matter. God loves everybody. So they were receiving it at some point, but then a stone comes to stop that plant from growing. Just like if you put a seed in the ground and it starts to sprout and open up, it may turn into a plant, but while it's young, before it can bear fruit, before it can get roots, just like you had to learn coming in the truth. Christ is black. The disciples are black. Blacks and Latinos and Native Americans are God's chosen people. The oppressor is the devil. Jesus is not a white man. Those things had to be planted, but your mother came. And your mother came to tell you that it don't matter that Jesus is black. And they in the cult and they speaking evil and they don't love God. And God is in the church with the singing and the bow tie and all and the alternative lifestyle preacher and all the child abusers. That's God. That's how I taught and raised you. So now, as opposed to you getting a crop that's grown from you learning and growing in the truth, to come into the truth, to do your 90 days, to get your Hebrew name, to actually come to the high holy days and learn to serve the Most High. Now, some stones stop your plants from growing. So you got to remove those stones. You got to remove those stones. The Christian church, the Muslim mosque, fake Israelite roots, smoking weed, eating pork, getting high. In order for your vineyard to thrive, for your plants and the roots to grow and produce fruit, which is most of what Christ was talking about fruit and seed time and harvest because we were a big agricultural people, the best on the planet. You understand? So what ends up happening? The stones will destroy your crop before it gets a chance to grow. All right. So you got to remove the stones and you also have to protect it. That's why the Isupk is as a gates around it. That's why you have generals and not deacons and bishops. We got captains and officers, men of war that will protect the Lord's precious crop, which is the brothers and sisters in the UPK that can give you the proper counseling so that you don't spend your years in a Christian church following a child abuser or an alternative lifestyle man, so that you don't spend your life in a fake Israelite group to find out that one of the leaders of your fake Israelite group is in an alternative lifestyle and is trying to prostitute his wife on Backpage. For those of you that don't know, the reason why we tell you if you're not in the UPK, you're not in the truth, it is to remove the stones that would harm you from growing. Is to remove the thorns that would choke out your spirit from being fed and growing properly in the truth. You understand? You to try to come to Passover and some fake Israelite group has white women sitting in the Passover and you serving them Passover dinner, like in the GOCC. Or you go somewhere and the leader has stolen all your money to get Rolls Royces and white women and forcing you to buy $500 candy cane colored garments like NATAZACH was doing and making people call him the comforter. And then he dies and steals all the damn money after brothers and sisters have poured their spirit for 20 years thinking that they were serving God, being robbed by a man who created a religion. Or you go and they tell you you must wear purple in a fake Israelite group and got you robbing brothers and you involved in murders. And now you hiding and covering up murder in your fake Israelite group. You bringing in Africans and Arabs and East Indians so that your leader, who's a dirty, undercover, corrupt, crooked New York City police detective cop, can continue his cop operation to destroy and bully and target and force an alternative lifestyle while twerking, while his second in command shimmying and switching around. You understand? All of this evil, and you don't even realize. We removing the thorns. We removing the stones from the Lord's precious garden that is fenced in and protected, so you can get proper mental health counseling without some bastard preying on you and robbing you and passing you around like a damn handmaid's tale, like they do with the purple cats. There's a reason why we warn you of these things, so you don't end up in the Muslim mosque for 20 years praying to a rock god like damn what's his name, Malcolm X, until you go to Mecca and find out that Islam has nothing to do with black men, but it's all white men in dresses that run the whole damn thing that you base your whole spirituality on in Chicago and in Detroit. And then you find out decades later, Muhammad was a white man. You find out decades later that Fard Muhammad appeared out of nowhere selling silk door to door in the projects, and they made him the leader and he taught them about Islam, and then he just disappeared and it becomes something black. Everybody runs scam on you. That's why the Lord's vineyard in this Isaiah, the 5th chapter, he put a gate around it, a fence to protect it the same way you would put a fence around your property to protect it, the same way that if you don't want the birds and the squirrels and the raccoons to come and destroy your prized crop of strawberries or tomatoes, you better get you some chicken wire. You better get you some fencing. You better have an enclosure. Otherwise, your entire vineyard will be destroyed by the rabbits, by the raccoons, by the deer, by the bear, by the snakes, by the rats, by the field mouse, by the foxes. You understand? This is what it's parallel to, and you need protection. That's why you can't join everyone and think you're serving God. That's what Isaiah, the 5th chapter, is talking about. So when you get to Officer NATAZACH's question in Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8, by the time you get down there, he's like, that's destruction. You're not supposed to join fields together. The Lord made his field to be separate. You're not supposed to join everybody together. He wants stuff to be separated because the reality is the majority of the nation has never wanted to serve the Most High. They came up against Adam. They came up, not Adam, but they came up against Noah. They came up against all the prophets that the Lord put up to lead this nation. Moses in the wilderness, Mattathias during the times of the Maccabees. They came up against Jeremiah and Elijah. They wouldn't listen to Hosea. They wouldn't listen to Amos. They wouldn't listen to Christ. They wouldn't listen to Peter and Paul. They always came up against them. You understand? So this is what it's talking about. Only Christians believe everyone is supposed to put aside their differences and just join together. You believe in getting high. He believe in prostitution. He believe in dreadlocks and shape-ups. And you over here serving God, and everybody just supposed to come together, and it's just magically going to work out like a Disney movie. That's not biblical. And that's what the Lord told Isaiah to say in his 5th chapter. And it's what the prophets have been saying throughout the entire Bible, which most of our nation never listened to the prophets anyway. That's why we ended up on reservations and INS detention centers, in the field picking cotton, in the field picking strawberries and tomatoes, and on, in the ghetto and at the bottom of slave ships. You understand? So go ahead and finish this verse you read now, Yabakar, please.
Salaki, Kana Wakan, and planted with the choicest vine.
The choicest vine. The vine is the fruit that grows on the vine, like a grape, like many of the fruits that I mentioned to you. All right. The most precious one. So where you get your cognac, your cavassier. The grape is the Lord's favorite fruit. That's his favorite thing that grows on the vine is a grape. That's why the tribe of Judah, who is the head tribe of the nation of Israel, that tribe is known for what? Grapes. Grape juice, grape drink. You understand? It's a stereotype, but a lot of the stereotypes are based in truth. The Lord's favorite drink is grape. I mean, his favorite vine, as the scriptures say, is the grapevine. They even made a song. I heard it through the grapevine. You understand? That's black people talk. The Bible is all about black people. You understand? So keep going, brother.
Kana Wakan, and built a tower in the midst of it.
He built a tower in the middle of it. You understand? Where he got his choice vine, his precious and special vine, talking about Israel. And then he built a tower. He got a fence, and now it has a tower. Keep going.
And also made a wine press therein.
And a wine press. A wine press is something that you take the grapes and you put it in a metal cylinder. And you able to crank it and turn it, and it'll smash down almost like a hydraulic press, and it'll smash down to get every last drop of juice out of a grape. You understand? Out of any fruit you put in there, it'll smash it down till it's flat and extract every bit of juice through a tube so that you get all your juice out of the grapes. Unlike the heathen, who will take the cranberries, who will take the grapes, and the heathen is not going to use the wine press. They're going to get in there and stomp on the damn fruits and vegetables with their bare feet, like the East Indians or the Hamites or the Italians or the French. You understand? Until we taught them how to use a press, and then guess what they call it? They call it a French press now. You understand? Of course, they'll take credit for it. That's why the Lord said his precious things must have a gate and a fence around it. Because if you can't say anything about race, then you can't say anything that people have stolen things from your race, because you're the only race of people that believes that race doesn't matter. So that means everybody can steal from you, and they'll say, well, it's not about race. All people did that. All people knew about this. That's how you get robbed. Race is the most important card in the deck. That's why we're talking about who the children of God are right now in tonight's class. We're going to get to it once we finish this here. Go ahead and finish this focus show.
Kana Wakan, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
It brought forth wild grapes. He looked that it should bring forth grapes that's supposed to grow in this proper place, and now the grapes to turn wild. They return wild grapes. He's trying to keep it so that it's properly trimmed and taken care of, but some of the grapes then grew wild. When you grow crops and things, the birds and mosquitoes will come and they'll eat some and spread the seeds everywhere. So you got a garden with a fence and a gate around it. But once the birds and the bees come to get the nectar from the plants and eat up the fruit, as they flying away, the damn seeds get stuck to them. They spread the seeds everywhere. Before you know it, you got wild grapes, wild berries, wild cucumbers, wild honeysuckle, wild flowers just growing everywhere. You understand? The whole damn thing is out of order. You understand? The Lord wants things done in order. That's why the Lord told Isaiah to do this. All right? To say these things. All right. Give me 3, because here is we getting to the point of it. Go ahead.
Khan. The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem.
And now, you inhabitants of Jerusalem, see this whole thing here, this wasn't about grapes. It wasn't about fruits and vegetables and stuff. It was a metaphor. That's why Christ spoke as a metaphor, because Isaiah did the same thing, because that's how the Lord operates. You understand? He's actually talking about the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Keep going.
And men of Judah.
And the men of Judah. This is about people. You understand? Keep going.
Judge, I pray you, betwixt me.
Go ahead.
Betwixt me and my vineyard.
Judge. Judgment means to issue righteous judgment. Punish where punishment is necessary. Correct where correction is necessary. You don't have a nation without judgment. That's why we so destroyed as a people, and Christians say, don't judge. You can't judge. Don't judge. Ain't no judging. If there's no judging, then all the teenagers will shoot up the city of Portsmouth and nobody will live where it's affordable. All the kids will steal cars in Norfolk, and then nobody will be able to live where they can afford. Nobody will be able to have businesses in the city where you are, so that you're not slaving all goddamn night and all goddamn day trying to make enough money to get food, because all the businesses have to leave the city because nobody can control these bad kids shooting and robbing everybody. You understand? This is why there needs to be judgment. But the Christian church say, forget the judgments of the Lord. And the Lord is saying yet again, judge ye men of Judah, I pray you. God damn it, let's get some judgment going on. Otherwise, my entire vineyard, my whole city, my precious crops will be all destroyed. Somebody stand up and let's get some judgment going on. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard?
Keep going.
That I have not done in it.
He said, what else could I have done to my precious vineyard, to Jerusalem, to my people? What more could I have done? I've done everything. I bought everything. I trimmed it. I got rid of the stones. I cut out the weeds. I sent the husbandmen to keep the garden, to keep the prophets. I've done everything that I could. I protected it. I've destroyed the enemies. I gave you the land of milk and honey. What else could I have possibly done to protect my precious vineyard, my people? What else could I have done? This is the Lord pleading, because the Lord is hurt that the nation had turned on him. Like, goddamn, what more can I do? You understand? Keep going.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes.
When I looked that it should bring forth grapes, when I looked to go back to check my crops to see where are my grapes, where are my concords, where are my reds, where are my green, where are my white grapes? When I look for my crop, keep going.
Brought it forth wild grapes.
It brought forth grapes that were untamed. It didn't have no value, didn't have no structure to them. They didn't have any rules. They didn't grow the proper way that I set them up. These grapes of my people, they turned wild. They turned to alternative lifestyle. They turned to pimping their wife out on the goddamn internet. They turned to selling their women to white men. They turned to alternative lifestyles and getting high and smoking weed and getting dreadlocks and shape-ups. They turned to worshiping their woman, having sex with sisters and throwing them away. Women standing up to fight and rival against a man. all in a man's face trying to start a goddamn fight. They turned to wild grapes. The kids started shooting each other and cussing at each other. Women get pregnant and killing their baby. They turn into a wild bunch of savage grapes. These aren't the grapes that I took care of and manicured. This isn't the farm that I cultivated to make sure that it had the proper nutrients, that it shined, that it was glorious, that it brought forth what I had planned for it. It became a thing, a wild thing. You understand? It destroyed itself. It polluted itself. You understand? This is what the Lord is saying. All right. So now it's been destroyed. It's been breaking down. It's been eaten up. This is what you see happening in these fake Israelite groups. Like, this is biblical. It's very biblical. You understand? The Lord talked about how the whole thing got to be destroyed and torn down so that the thing that he has been cultivating is the only thing that's left. You understand? You can't have all these wild grapes representing the nation, because the nation will be known for robbing and shooting and unaliving and stealing and being criminals and wild. They won't be known for being the prince or the princess of the power anymore. They shall no longer be called tender and delicate. You understand? Like, this is what the Lord is talking about. Keep going.
Khan, verse 5. And now go to.
Skip me down to Salaki. Go ahead and skip me down to verse 7.
Khan. Verse 7.
6. I got to do 6. Skip me to 6.
Khan. Verse 6. And I will lay it waste.
The Lord said, I'm going to destroy it. These wild grapes is not what I set up. They changed the Lord's name. They changed Shalom to Shalom. They changed the Sabbath day to Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat. They changed the Lashawan Quadash to Yiddish. All the fake Israelites then spread this garbage that they were never taught in One West. And now everybody naming Yah and Yehudo and Yahui and Yehoah and Yiddish and Iba Yaba and Uba Yubo and all kind of nonsense that nobody was ever taught. And they've created wild grapes of the Lord's precious truth, of his vineyard that he had been cultivating with the knowledge of the truth and the spirit of the Lord since 1969 out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. They changed it and made it something else for themselves so that they could get glory, so that they can get wealth, they can get shine, they can get their opportunity. But the Lord didn't want them to have an opportunity because they were unfit. And now you find out 20 years later, your leader's an alternative lifestyle man. He letting ungodly madness be done with his backside. And he's in charge of an Israelite group. And you on the goddamn internet arguing with the UPK, and your leader is in an alternative lifestyle and then drug his rib into the goddamn alternative lifestyle. And you on the internet arguing with the UPK about why we say the UPK is the home of the truth. If you're not in the UPK, you're not in the truth. Big free to get to twirling around like a ballerina and shimmying in front of other men, and all the silly women sitting there recording, laughing just like sisters in church. After 20 years of you being warned that if you're not in the UPK, you're not in the truth. The Lord said he's going to tear it down. The scriptures say judgment shall start in my house first. That's why he say, where are the men of Judah that will judge my nation? You're going to let the whole damn thing be destroyed? What was the purpose of leaving the church? Just to make an Israelite group and continue to get high and get prostitutes and get shape-ups and get dreadlocks and be a goddamn gang member and still take the mark of the beast and fight for America and be their law enforcement and their military and still have your soul tied to Christianity and invite all the other nations in. This is what the scriptures is talking about, and is what kept happening. Every time the Lord sent the prophets back into the earth to repair the nation, wicked men rose up and got power, except this time in this captivity in America, the Lord is going to burn up the false prophet, the wicked man, right along with the beast, the other nations, their armies, all the ones that got rich with them, all the ones in charge that dealt with the slave trade, that eat off of the 12 tribes, they all get ready to burn up together. President Trump that invaded countries in West Africa, Ghana then told the Europeans to get out of their country because the Central Africans are doing exactly what they killed Muammar Gaddafi for, trying to make a united Africa. You understand? You don't know what's happening in the earth. That's why the Chinese is flooding opioids and heroin all throughout West Africa so that they can steal the resources the same way the white man took opium from Asia during the Vietnam War and flooded in the black communities. Everything that happens in cycles. There is no new thing under the earth. The thing that have been in the past shall be, and that which is happening now hath already been. That's why the Lord said he already sent his prophets to give you warning. We had already been taught about all of this. It's in the Bible. And we learning about it yet again, that the Lord cleaning up his house. This is what's happening. And it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be beautiful. That's why we've been warning our people, man. It's going to be terrible. You understand? Give me verse 6. Keep going.
Khan Wakan, it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns.
It's not going to be pruned. It's not going to be taken care of. When you come into the truth in the Isupk, when you brothers and sisters come into the school, you're off limits for 6 months. You're to be saluted only. During the process of you coming into the school, you're getting counseling. You're getting taught in the classes. You're getting an opportunity to change your spirit and battle your demons about yourself, to get off of weed and cigarettes, because you're being pruned and taught that you can't serve God and keep your dreadlocks, because there's a spirit that you need to have to keep your dreadlocks. You can't smoke weed and serve the Lord, because there's a spirit and a God that you serve that goes along with that weed and those dreadlocks. You can't stay on cocaine and Percocets, because there's a spirit that goes along with that drug abuse. You can't stay a lesbian, because there's a spirit that goes along with accepting that lifestyle. You can't be in an alternative lifestyle. You understand? There's a spirit that goes along with it. You can't go to church. You can't celebrate Christmas. You have to get pruned away from the joy that you used to have sitting at the Christmas tree, eating Christmas ham with your family. It has to be taken out of you. It got to be cut off of you and pruned like a flower, like a plant. You got to cut that dead leaf off so that the rest of the plant will continue to grow. You understand? You got to go to the doctor. You may not have gone to doctors when you were in the world, because slaves don't go get medical treatment for their illnesses. Slaves die of things that already has medical treatments. You have to get that demon off of you, that blacks and Latinos believe in prayer and hope and songs and religion, rather than going to get goddamn medicine from a doctor who the Lord provided, called the apothecary or the pharmacist or the physician. You have to get that demon off of you, because most of our people are sick. Most of our people have illnesses. Most of our people have been abused. Most of our people have gone to church and been lied to, have gone to Christianity and the Muslim mosque and been lied to, that believe in white Jesus and the Arabs' God and believe you're an African. You have to get that stuff cut out of you in order to produce the fruit that is pruned and trimmed, so that you can grow and flourish into the new brother and sister in the truth. They don't have that in fake Israelite groups. They don't have a camp leader that teaches you how to check in, that teaches you how to report when some emergency happens, that teaches you not to wait until you're on your deathbed before you say, well, yeah, the doctor said, oh, I was about to die 20 minutes ago, but I'm straight now, until you drop dead. They don't have the shepherds the Lord set up that are spiritually put there to care for your soul, to make sure you don't go out and destroy yourself because America says you have the freedom to do whatever the hell you want, to make sure you're not shaving half your head off as a woman or as a man, because there's a demon that teaches you to do that. There's a demon that teaches you to have a short little boy haircut as a girl. There's a demon that teaches you to do that, but they don't know how to get the demons off of you, because they're full of demons themselves, because they were not pruned. They appointed themselves to lead. They weren't appointed by the Lord To be appointed by the Lord is to be appointed by Commanding General Yohana, because he is who the Lord put in charge. And everyone else appointed themselves. If you are not in the ISUPK, you can't be pruned and taken care of properly. You're outside of the spirit of the Lord. You're outside of the fence that the Lord told Isaiah to talk about in verses 4 and 5. You understand? So instead of getting the proper care and treatment to help you fight your demons, 10 and 15 years later, you destroy all the brothers and sisters that were following you, thinking they were serving God, when they find out you're really Eddie Long. You're an alternative lifestyle man. You're in the closet, alternative lifestyle, prostituting your wife, getting high, buying prostitutes, getting shape up, smoking weed, eating pork, having macaroni and cheese at your Passover, trying to marry known prostitutes and strippers. Like, you destroy yourself and everyone else who followed you. And then they take what you taught them, and then they go and make another fake Israelite group or a church or a mosque. And you further destroy the nation. You understand? So this is what the scriptures end up talking about. You understand? So now we're going to go down. Righteous judgment in order to save the nation. Now give me down to give me verse 8 now. You can go ahead down to verse 8.
Con Wakan, verse 8. Woe unto them that join the house to house.
That's why the ISUPK is not joining your Rainbow Coalition and your unity camps. The Lord said destruction unto them that join house to house, because the Lord don't want all houses joined to his house. You're going to humble yourself and leave your house to come in the Lord's house and be under the scrutiny and the rules that come with being under the care of men of God, where judgment is. You understand? And nobody wants that. That's why they go outside of the UPK and then they argue with us on the internet. Keep going.
That lay field to field.
That connect everybody's
Till
field.
there be.
Bring everybody together. Once you have all the people that believe and follow you, come and join all the people that believe and follow me. And we can all disagree, and we can all believe something different, and we can all speak a different language, and we can all call the Most High a different name, and we can all say something different and have different Passovers and do completely different, but pretend like we all joined together. Absolute foolishness. Keep going.
Till there be no place.
Until there be no place. Until there isn't a place of the truth anymore. Everybody else then dropped the truth and created their own religion. Only people still holding on to what was taught from the original school is Command and Journal Yahweh. Everything else they've already changed. Keep going.
That they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth.
That they may be just thrown in the middle of the earth, and they just out there. They just out there, just doing whatever. Once the Lord takes you, then your flock is just destroyed. Nobody's in charge. Nobody to get counseling. Nobody to get help. Nobody to get anything. Everybody just out doing whatever the hell they want. And then eventually somebody appoints themselves a leader, and then they go start over. Like, that destroys our nation. That's what churches do. That's what mosques do. That's how we ended up in Egyptology and the Nubian and Nuwapian and Pan-Africanism and Moorish science and 5%. And we became Bloods and Vice Lords and GDs and Crips and all manner of everything. You understand? Any more on that?
Lord, sir, that was the end of verse 8.
Right. All right, that's it on that. You understand? That's it on that. All right. All right. That's it on that. Okay, that should be on some NATAZACH's question there. That should be it on that. It's more on that. It's more. But that's it on his question there. All right. So now we done broke that down. We can get into our topic here. We're gonna go, who are the Lord's people? Who are the Lord's people? You understand? We're gonna go to Deuteronomy. Who are the Lord's people? Who are the Lord's people? how will we know, identify who the Lord's chosen people are? We're going to get a lot of scriptures here. Take me to Jeremiah chapter 14. And nope, we already did Jeremiah. We already went over Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. We want to identify who the Lord's people are. Take me to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Bubba Shaw. Deuteronomy chapter 28. And we're going to go to verse 1. All right. We're going to jump around here. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass.
You gone away. I don't see you no more. You can't, your camera went out. Let's keep going. Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently.
Right. That's a future prophecy. It will happen in the future if you listen diligently, if you do exactly what I'm saying. Keep going.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
What is the voice of the Lord? This is what the voice of the Lord is according to the Bible. It's right here in the same scripture. That's why he pauses. There's a comma, and then it's going to describe what you just read. The voice of the Lord is what? Keep reading.
To observe.
To observe.
And to do all his commandments.
Right. Everywhere you see the words if, and, or buts, you want to always know in your mind, you got to stop and pause there. Because it's something to break down before and after the if, and, the but. The first part was, I want you to read it one more again. I want you to stop before the and. Give me one more time. Let me show you, everybody. And
it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
it shall
to observe.
To pass. Hold on, you're supposed to stop there.
Right.
It shall come to, no, you're doing fine. But the if, everywhere we see if and the buts, this is conditional. Because the Christian church, who has lied on the Bible, who everyone associates the Bible with, even if they don't go to church, it shall come to pass. If this is conditional, it is not automatic. You don't automatically. They say, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, you blessed. Jesus died, we blessed, blessed, blessed. That's a damn lie. It's conditional. He said, if you do what I say. Keep going from there, from the if.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you listen.
To observe and do.
To observe. We'll stop at observe. Why does it say observe? These are two separate actions. That's why there's an and there. To observe is because you have commandments to observe the Lord's high holy days. You have to observe the Passover, observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread, observe the Day of Atonement, observe the memorial blowing of trumpets. You have to observe. The Lord gave commandments on the high holy days we're supposed to celebrate. We have to observe them. They're in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. We go over every high holy day. This contains our history, the same way that our oppressor observes, remember the Alamo, the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Easter, Father's Day, Christmas. He observes his heritage. You understand? We are supposed to observe ours. This is what makes us a people. This is why if you become a Muslim, you observe Ramadan and Eid and all the other stuff. And you're supposed to go to Mecca. You understand? Every culture of people have their rules. God gave us rules that we have to follow. If we obey them, the Lord said he would do something. These are the terms of the contract, covenant, agreement that our forefathers made with the God of our forefathers. It has nothing to do with any other race of people. It's important for you to know that, and it's also important for you to learn how to explain it. Keep going, Yabakar.
And to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
To do all his orders or his commandments, which I command thee this day. We got commandments to observe the high holy days, and then we got rules that he told us how we're supposed to live, on what to eat, on family, on money, on law, on sex, on marriage, on divorce, on disputes, on murder, on war. He gave us rules, very meticulous rules, that every other nation of people has taken portions of our culture that the God of our fathers gave to us and used it to better advance their people. We even got laws about washing your behind. A woman go on her period, she's separated. She have a baby, she's separated for a time. Whatever, if you're sick, you're to be separated. You understand? If you got some illness, you aren't supposed to spread cholera every goddamn where. You're supposed to be quarantined. He gave us these rules before a Center for Disease Control, a 911, a World Health Organization. God gave us these rules in the Middle East in the desert. And this made us a people. This made us who we are. Being clean, washing, bathing properly, a washcloth, a wash pot. The other nations still don't use washcloths. You in 2025, you can look up an interview right now. How many people seen that interview with a bunch of Edomites talking about, I don't bathe every day. I'm not washing my legs and washing my feet. They do exactly what you see on them shampoo commercials. They go and wash their hair and let the water just trickle wherever it is, and they get out and they dry their hair off and they go get dressed. You understand? Like a goddamn German shepherd. No washcloths, no cleaning, scrubbing, bathing, nothing. That's our culture. God gave us those rules in the Bible, how to wash your behind and not be nasty and dirty, how to smell good, how to get your hair braided. You understand? How to make sure you take care of your skin. You don't let all kind of skin diseases and rashes break out and spread throughout the goddamn land. That's biblical. That's who you are. That's our identity. It may seem like a small thing until you go to another country and you get off that plane in the motherland and that smell jump down your nose and damn near choke the life out of you. Then you'll realize, oh, this is so different. You go to Europe and you smell the raw Edomite without, shampoo and loofahs and Axe body spray. And then you realize, oh, this is much different because we civilized everyone with the laws that the Lord gave us. All right, keep going, Yabakar.
Come, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right. Now I'm going to show you something right there. What you read is very heavy, and I want you to see what it is to highlight out of these things that the Lord is saying in the scriptures. That the Lord, thy God, most important thing in that whole verse. This God we're talking about is a different God from every other race of people's God. And you must know that. And in order to understand that, what you want to make sure that you do is that we're going to take a pause and make sure that you are ready for the Lord's 56th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia. Make sure that you're ready. You understand? Give it up. Give it up. Let's hear
Welcome
about
to Atlanta.
Take a brief.
Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one west. They're one west. They're one west. They're...
All right, Most High in Christ, Shalom, shalom. We back in here. Y'all was showing Bergatah. All right. Now we continuing on. All right, other half, give it up, ready for that Passover. All right. So now the Lord said if we obeyed him, that he would do something and make us special above all the other nations that's on the earth. You understand? All right, so keep going, Yabakar.
Khan. Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee.
The Lord said all these blessings would come upon us. All these blessings. Now, of course, we know we're supposed to get all these blessings. The Lord talk about all these blessings here. And we did not get these blessings. We're not sitting in all these blessings right now. We trying to get to them, but we don't have them for sure. There's a million of us sitting in prison right now, and we piling up in the emergency rooms, and we all on all kinds of pills with blood pressure and this and that and anxiety and full of medications and everything. So we didn't get these blessings the Lord was talking about. And the blessings is not how we're going to be identified. Take me down to verse 14, Hebrew.
Khan. Verse 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of thy words. Salakia, any of the words.
The Lord said, don't change nothing that you've been taught. Don't change anything. Don't make up your own thing. Don't try to distinguish yourself and do your own thing. Do exactly what I taught you. Don't change anything. You understand? That's what the Lord said. And what happened? Israel changed everything. Now we're going to identify. Now we're going to find out who we are by the beatings that we get. Give me verse 15.
Khan. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
It's a future prophecy. This was going to happen. I told you what to do now. You don't do what I said. This was going to happen. This is what the Lord said. Come on with it.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you won't listen to the voice of the Lord, if you won't do what I say, keep going.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
If you won't keep my commandments,
and his statutes,
you won't observe my high holy days. You decide that you're going to do Christmas, Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthdays. You decide you want to change and serve another God, and you think it don't matter, that's fine. You'll be getting Mother's Day cards from the penitentiary. That's fine. You'll be trying. I'll never forget this. I remember I was working at a slavery with a sister, and it was Mother's Day. I was in the troop by this time, so Commander Journey Yohana had spared me from the shame that is horrible Mother's Day for Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And I remember this sister. I was slaving, and she got a Mother's Day, and she came over to the department I was working in some retail place. We processed camp photos and stuff like that. And this sister said, "I want to get this picture made so I can send off to my mother." I said, "All right, no problem. We get this here." And the sister has a Happy Mother's Day card, and it's a picture in the card, trying to turn the picture into the Happy Mother's Day card for her celebrating Happy Mother's Day with her mother in the prison. Her mother's in prison, and she trying to send a picture like Happy Mother's Day. My mom is telling me Happy Mother's Day from prison, and I want to send a Happy Mother's Day card so that we can pretend like we're having a happy goddamn family while my mother is sitting in prison. This is how evil these holidays are. While you celebrate your family, your sister doesn't have a goddamn mother because her mother is in federal lockup. And we all supposed to pretend like we having wonderful families while your sister sends a Happy Mother's Day card to her mother in prison doing 15 years. And we just supposed to pretend like that ain't nothing, and the rest of us just go celebrate Happy Mother's Day. And the other sisters got pictures of their sons who got murdered in the streets, a life-size picture sitting in the goddamn living room that she trying to have a birthday dinner with her dead son's picture in the living room. And the rest, we just supposed to have Happy Mother's Day while your sister cries and talk to a goddamn cardboard statue of her dead son. This is how evil these holidays are. And unless you come and grow a conscience in the truth, you will celebrate them right up until it's your turn to eat dinner with your cardboard picture of a dead son. You'll do the same thing. And no one will care then, and everyone else will go and celebrate it unless you get a conscience put inside of you from the Spirit of the Lord in the ISUPK. You won't know any better. You understand? This is what the Lord is talking about. Keep going.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
All the rules in the different areas of the law that will prevent you from turning into a lawless society, that will prevent our people from having an argument and a disagreement, and then one brother just pull out a gun and shoot another brother. Because this is how we settle the disagreement. You understand? We have a disagreement, and then your woman takes your baby she's pregnant with, and she goes to Planned Parenthood and kills your child. And damn near dies herself getting the abortion. That's how we solve our disagreements, because the statutes and the rules that the Lord set up to make us a nation and to make us his prized crop, you understand, his prized possession in his vineyard, those rules got discarded. So now it's just up for grabs. You understand? Keep going.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
The Lord said all these curses would come upon us. What are some of these curses? There are a lot of them. There are plenty of them. The Lord said all these curses would come upon us, not just come up to us, but what would happen? All these curses would come upon us. Go ahead, Yagador.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
These curses would not just come on us, because Africa is full of AIDS. They're full of all kind of health problems. They're full of jaundice and all kind of blood disorders and bad hearts and bad backs. You understand? The world has plenty of health problems. That's why they created a World Health Organization. However, once these curses come, they'll go and then they'll make it to us. And then unlike the rest of the people who get them, they'll overtake us. We'll be number one in bad hearts and bad backs and fibroids and thyroids and bad knees and bad kidneys. Blacks and Hispanics will become number one, because the Lord said they would overtake us if we did not obey these. That's why we're the fewest in the country. They call us minority. But when you go to the different health problems, we are the majority with these different problems. As soon as a new problem comes up, wherever it starts, we'll become number one. Same thing happened with COVID. COVID started in Wuhan, China, in the Wuhan province of China. The Moabites found a way to get rid of that COVID there. They just took all the sick Moabites and threw them in the goddamn oven because you never saw them again. China got rid of that problem. Don't do what China did. You understand? They know how to fix a problem over there. As soon as it made it to America, it made it to the people who get sick from everything. You understand? This is what the Lord was talking about. All right. So let's get some more. All these curses would come upon us. Give me verse 16. This is a prominent one here. For those that have not heard this, we're going to go into a lot of different things. All right. So give me 16. There we go.
Come. Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
When the Lord says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, this is what the Lord is talking about. A curse in the city is talking about crime. It's talking about getting your car stolen, your homes broken into. Curse in the city. Our cities are filled with abortion clinics. The same things that we've mentioned. Broken families. Sisters raising children by themselves. Brothers having their children taken away. Your woman run to another state with your kids and put you on child support. That's a curse from God in the Bible. Now I'm going to show you. You understand? Cursed shall thou be in the city. When we live in the city, which is why we left the South, we were in rural areas and we came up into these cities to leave the South, to leave the plantations, to leave the cotton fields, to leave the tobacco fields of Jamestown and Yorktown and Alexandria and where else? Where else? A lot of to Portsmouth and Norfolk. We left the regional plantations to move up and move into a city. And what happened once we got in the city? Exactly what's happening in the cities where we live now. Keep going.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
In the field, when we live in the country, the Klan is the police department. Brothers getting hung from trees, the stores and towns getting burned down. We tried to make a city in Rosewood and in Tampa and in Memphis and in Tulsa and in Arkansas and in Alabama and in Aberville and in Louisiana and Philly. And then they drop a bomb from the Philadelphia police helicopters and blow up an entire block of black houses. They drop crack and heroin to destroy us. These things don't just happen because we have enemies. All the nations are our enemies. When you go through the records of the Bible, we've been in war with all of the other nations. So it's not something new. But these nations are able to succeed because the Lord is not protecting us for the reasons that were stated in the previous verses. So keep going.
Come. Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
The Lord said, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Meaning, as a people, this can go over a lot of people's heads. Your basket, meaning when you're going to make purchases, your basket, you're going to have to put stuff back. The Social Security or the food stamps or the check that you work in might not be enough to cover everything that you need. You might not be able to get the right amount of butter and bread and oil and all your seasonings and the chicken and the meat and the rice and the beans. And you might not be able to afford all of that because the electricity has taken all of your money. The car note and car insurance and the gas and the mortgage and the rent has taken all your money. The medicine and the surgeries has taken all your money. Child care has taken it all. And the rest the oppressor has kept to himself. You understand? You are supposed to have a store. The Lord said, cursed would be thy basket, your basket, and the store. The store where you're supposed to go, they closed it. I remember when we first started speaking down in Norfolk in like 2017, we talking to the sister on the phone. The sister said they closing the shop right. They closing to this. They closing to that. They putting signs up there saying everybody got to be out of Tidewater Square. Everybody got to be out of the gardens. They knocking down the buildings and boarding it up. They done tore down the gas station. They done tore down the McDonald's. They building up condos. That's what the Lord is talking about. They don't tear down white cities and build up condos. They tear down black cities and build up condos to make new white cities. You understand? Like this is what the Lord is talking about. And it is the exact same thing if you go to Latin America. The brothers and sisters there, their stores and shops and businesses, much of the fruit that you get in the grocery store that is not being grown here by Latino brothers and sisters working Esau's field, they're in the field with no bathrooms, no toilets, no restrooms, no showers, no shade, picking 90 pounds of fruit. All the oranges and tangerines and all the fruits that you getting at your local grocery store, strawberries and blueberries, Latinos is touching all of that. They picking all of that in the field the same way we pick cotton sun up to sundown. They living in shacks. The shacks got no heat, no air conditioning, no refrigerator, no running stove. People that died in there. They don't have doors. They got mice in there, got blood stains in there. And, you know, this is just life. Then they got the nerve to call them lazy and illegal after they working more than everybody else this year. You understand? Yeah, because your camera went out. I think your camera died. Officer Yabakar, are you there? Look like your camera went out.
Okay.
All right. Said, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. You're supposed to have your own store. We're supposed to have our own stores. That's what the Lord is saying. The reason we don't have our own stores is because that's a punishment from the Lord. You understand? All right. That's a punishment from the Lord. Let's see. Skip me down to verse 22.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with consummation.
With consumption. Read it one more time.
With consumption. Salakia. The Lord shall smite thee with consumption.
He said with consumption. What is he talking about? Keep going.
And with a fever.
And with a fever, an illness, get you sickness. We were not supposed to be sick. The reason why these things may seem so normal is because we were the people that weren't supposed to get sick. You aren't supposed to have a fever or bad backs or allergies or kidneys or skin conditions or heart conditions or lung conditions or high or low blood pressure or all kind of mental health and behavioral disorders. We weren't supposed to have any of these things. This came as punishments from the Most High. You understand? That's what the Lord is talking about. That's why when Christ came on the scene, he gave his disciples power to heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, cast out devils, raise the dead. You understand? Now we got to take Esau's medicine until the Lord give us the power again. All right. All right. So keep going.
And with an inflammation.
Your sound breaking up. Read that. Whatever you read, read it one more time. Baba Kushar.
Come on. And with an inflammation.
Inflammation. Your joints is inflamed. Your bowels is inflamed. Your guts is inflamed. Your digestive tract ain't working. Your kidneys is inflamed. Your lymph nodes is inflamed. Your knees is inflamed. Prostate inflamed. Your colon inflamed. Everything inflamed. All kind of problems and joint pain, inflammation. This is curses. We were never supposed to have any of these things here. You understand? Keep going.
And with an extreme burning.
An extreme burning. Go ahead.
And with the sword.
And with the sword, all kind of murder and killing and drama going on. Like this is describing. That's why they talking about the cartels in Mexico and the cartels in Colombia and Tren de Aragua in Venezuela, the cartels in Brazil down in the favelas, and the cartels and the gangs in Haiti and the gangs in Central America, and the gangs all in the city, robbing, shooting everywhere. Crips here, Gangster Disciples here, Bloods here, 9 Trays here. You understand? They're talking about it everywhere. These things are curses from the Most High. You understand? All right, drop that. Skip me down some more. Let's see. Drop me down. Give me verse 29. Salah.
Con. Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday.
You're going to be at noonday. Noonday is the middle of the day when the sun is all the way up. It's bright and shining. This is when you're supposed to get the sun. Everybody's day is in full swing. You up and on your way. The kids is at school. Everything is in full motion throughout the city, throughout the land. But at noonday, you grope it. You're trying to get it together. You don't know which way to turn, what to do. You understand? This is what the Lord is talking about. Keep going.
As the blind gropeth in darkness.
As someone who's out reaching in darkness because they can't see. They don't know where they're going. They're trying to feel their way around. They're trying to navigate through life. They don't know what's the right step, what's the wrong step, where's a trap, where's a pitfall. Am I going to trip and fall over this? Can you believe that after so many years, who was around in the 80s? Who remembers the 80s? Anybody here? Who was around in the 80s? Where my 70s, 60s babies at? Who was around in the 80s? Anybody remember the 80s? Y'all remember the 80s? Let's just do a quick check real quick. Who remembers the 80s? You understand? Let's see. Who remembers the 80s? How wonderful the 80s was. The first part of the 80s was good. All right. One brother remember the 80s. All right. Who else gonna tell on themselves? All right. Remember the 80s? Who else remember the 80s? All right. Ron remember the 80s. Yagadar remember the 80s. All right. The rest of y'all might not have been there. All right. Somebody else remember the 80s. All right. The bar remember the 80s. The bar was there. She remember the 80s. Here we go. All right. Remember the 80s. All right. So about a quarter of y'all remember the 80s. The rest of y'all wasn't there. All right. No sweat. Well, Reagan. Yeah, Reagan. Ronald Reagan. That's right. From the 1980s, the late 80s, and it didn't take long, pills and crack cocaine and pills exploded throughout the country. Cocaine became such a big thing, and then crack became such a big thing in the 90s and the late 80s. Con, you remember a little bit? All right, sis. All right, sis. I'll take it. The water. It exploded to such a thing that there's not a black community anywhere that should not remember the destruction of Sherm, of Love Boat, PCP, cigarettes and weed dipped in embalming fluid, black tar heroin, cheese heroin, blue magic, the diesel, the reefer, you understand, the cocaine, the ready rock, the freebase. Nowhere in the black community should anybody not remember the devastating effects that getting high has done to our communities, our cities, and our families. There was so much drug-related crime, robberies, kidnapping, assaults, violence, murders, shootings, everywhere. Innocent bystanders. It became known that innocent little girls riding their bike getting hit with stray bullets. That became a known common thing. Old ladies on their porch in their living room getting a bullet going through several walls, hitting her in the neck while she watching soap operas. that became so well known and so prevalent that everyone should have been very well educated in the Black and Latino community to never take drugs, to never get high, to never take pills, to never snort coke, to never smoke weed, to don't develop a lifestyle of getting high, seeing that our cities had hundreds of murders every year that was drug related. And yet, still in 2025, 40 years later, our people is still unsure about not getting high. Still unsure of whether it's a good decision or not. Should I snort cocaine? The amount of brothers and sisters, they smoking perk 30s in Texas. They smoking perks. The amount of brothers and sisters that are still trying cocaine and heroin in 2025, as though we don't have 40 years of history of the destruction of our cities, families, aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers, for being strung out on drugs. Brothers and sisters still doing it. When the Lord said you're going to grope and not be sure, as someone walking in blindness, in darkness, you still don't know the same people who everyone has members of their family in prison because of drug-related offenses. Nobody still don't know not to take drugs. Nobody still don't know. The rich brothers don't know not to take drugs. The poor brothers don't know not to take drugs. The sisters don't know not to take drugs after 40 years. This is what the scripture is talking about. The Chinese stopped their drug addiction by killing their drug addicts and forcing them to get rehab or getting rid of it. That's how they fixed their drug problem. And now the Chinese flooded West Africa with the drug problem so that they can do to them that the British did to them in the Battle of Shanghai. You understand? Like, we are not learning. We're not learning as a people. This comes from the Lord. The Lord said this curse would happen. Nobody has the same problem for 40 years, and everybody just keeps stepping on the same bear trap. You understand? Like, this is what the scriptures is talking about. Keep going.
Come on. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
The Lord said we would not prosper in our ways. The Lord didn't say you wouldn't get money. He didn't say you wouldn't get money. Satan offered Christ all the kingdoms of this world, and he had it to give. He said you would not prosper. That after decades of all of this, whatever, you end up with a life sentence and you die at 20. And you end up destroying the city that you became the king of, and then your gang gets RICO charges, and all 40 of your gang gets life sentences in the federal prison, and they ship you all across the country, and you live in cages forever. 23-hour lockdown. All your drug money, your Rolexes, your suits, your cars, the FBI seizes it at an auction, and then they sell it across the country. And that money goes to help fund them so that they can go and track down more brothers doing the same thing that we've been doing since the goddamn 80s that landed us all in prison or dead. And we still tripping over the same trap. And it is because our people have refused to come into the truth and change our lives. That's the job of the prophets of the Lord and the priests in the UPK, to encourage brothers and sisters to change their lives. You understand? Encourage them to change your life with the Spirit of the Lord. And Lord willing, brothers and sisters will change. Just like eventually the Spirit of the Lord caused you, brothers and sisters, to change. Because what none of y'all here when I came in here, none of y'all was here. You understand? And then Lord willing, in due time, the Lord turned the spirits of brothers and sisters so that more of the Lord's harvest of his vineyard would come in and would produce crops. You understand? So keep going.
Come. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled even more.
That's right. We would only be oppressed and spoiled. Everywhere we go, we are oppressed. If you go down to Central and South America, those brothers and sisters are oppressed. If you go on your Caribbean, your Royal Caribbean Jamaican cruise, your Carnival cruise, and you go to the Bahamas, or you go to Trinidad and go to Jamaica, you go to Cuba, you see the beautiful beaches and the nice architecture and all the beautiful colors, and get your mango and your rum, and you have a good time at the hotel, and you're going to see East Indians on the whole thing. An island filled of slaves. Who runs it? The East Indians. How do the East Indians run it? Because the Lord said you would only be oppressed. You go into Mexico. You know who the president of Mexico is? A Jewish woman. She's the president of Mexico, not the Mexicans, not Javier, not Julio Cesar Chavez, not him. You understand? Not the brothers and sisters who fought in the Alamo. They're not the presidents. They don't run the country. You understand? Liechtenstein, not Liechtenstein, Goldstein. That's the president of Mexico. You know who's the president of El Salvador? French Montana, a Pakistani man, a Palestinian. He's the president of the Latin American country where brothers is fighting and oppressed and crushed forever. You know who runs Central and South America? The Japanese, the Chinese, the oppressor from Europe who changed his Italian name to a Spanish name. That's why they got blue eyes down there talking about, I'm the natives. Then you got the actual natives that live in the ghetto, that play music on the streets to make money, while he get rich and powerful and say he's from Argentina. The Lord said this would happen. If you go to Afghanistan, Afghans run Afghanistan. If you go to Iraq, Iraqis run Iraq. If you go to West Africa, West Africans run West Africa. If you go to where blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are, Arabs, East Indians, Asians, Ethiopians, the white man, everybody runs where we are. This is a curse from the Lord. No other people live that way. You understand? That's why our brothers and sisters are leaving their homes in the tropics to try to come get the stolen resources that America took from them here in the United States. And Donald Trump, everybody acting like they don't know why they're here. You understand? This is what the Lord is talking about. All right, so keep going.
Come. And no man shall save thee.
A man is not going to be able to save you. Your gang leader can't save you. The recruiting officer cannot save us from this. This is not going to be changed by a pastor or an imam or the big homie or the plug or whoever's offering jobs. We got whoever's giving out school vouchers and free lunches and education programs and job fairs. That's not going to fix the problem. Or NFL, NBA contracts, record deals. These problems don't get solved by us getting more things. You understand? Salakia, Genesis 3, when it says we will be working by the sweat of our brow, the earth will not yield her fruit. And you discuss these curses, even though we are in the truth, aren't we still being affected? Absolutely. Initially, Officer Costa-Parr asked a good question. Initially, in the Garden of Eden, we weren't supposed to have to work on any of it. We weren't supposed to have to work and dig up the ground and prune the weeds and till the soil. All of that was done automatically for us. Adam had to name the animals. He had to make sure that things were done in their proper order. He had to name everything and keep things done in order and be in charge of it. But initially, we weren't supposed to have to work and till in the fields the way that we did. That was a punishment for Adam falling weak underneath of his woman Eve, that the serpent seduced to take the customs of the other nations of people, which turned one of her sons into a murderer and got one of her sons killed and then got her family evicted from paradise. That's the first lesson in the Bible. And that's a very good question. And yes, we are still under these curses. You understand? Absolutely. Because the terms of the contract that the Lord made with our forefathers in this Deuteronomy 28, we violated those terms. And because we violated those terms, this is the other side of the contract that we had already agreed to. But that is correct. We are definitely still affected. And guess what? The Lord had already given Adam instructions about how to bring a sacrifice unto him. You know how we know? Because Cain and Abel brought sacrifices to the Lord, and one brought what the Lord required, and the other brought whatever he felt God should accept. And one brother was not accepted, and he unalived his brother. And because of it, the Lord created what we know today as the so-called white man on the earth. You understand? But absolutely. What happened here? The Lord had already made a covenant with Adam and given him the knowledge of the truth in these laws. What happened differently with Moses is the Lord restarted the earth, and this time he had it all written down so that we could become a great nation, because he started with Adam and it did not work out with Adam. So he started again with Abraham, and he said, this time I'm going to make a nation. We're going to get everything written down. And it's not just going to be to this one man anymore, because that didn't work. All right. So this is what it's talking about. Let's see. Give me down to verse. You can just read the next verse. Officer Yabakal.
Come. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife.
You're going to engage a woman. You're going to be engaged with her. This woman is promised to you. This is your woman. The only thing that has changed is you have not yet had sex with this woman to officially consummate the marriage that is already planned, that's already worked out with her father. All of these things is already set in motion. This is for all purposes a woman that is off the market. You understand? The dowry already been paid. Everything is set up. Only thing that has not happened is the father officially giving you his daughter, and you have sex with her to make her yours. But she is technically already your woman. It says you're going to engage a woman or betroth a woman or be talking to a woman. Keep going.
And another man shall lie with her.
And another man is going to go and have sex with your woman. You understand? It's happened to us in slavery, happened to us all the time. In every novella, every soap opera, every love and hip hop. That's why everybody outside your windows right now, outside in the streets, is shooting at each other. Because your woman having sex with somebody else, and a bunch of people are getting ready to die because of it. You understand? Keep going.
Thou shalt build a house.
You're going to build a house. Most people build a house for their family, for themselves. Except now, you're going to build a house. Keep going.
And thou shalt not dwell in therein. Salakia, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
You're not going to live in this house you build. You're going to be building houses for someone else to live in. Instead of you being the prince of the power, you're going to be known as the laborer. You're going to be the construction worker, the wood gatherer, the wood cutter. You're going to be building the city for another nation of people when you are supposed to be the one who they build cities for. You're the prince of the power. You're the sons of the living God, and now you're a laborer. You're known as the laborers. You're looked at as the laborer. You understand? When they see you, they're going to say, oh, you must be the help. Are you delivering packages? Oh, are you you here to bring me my stuff? What are you? Oh, you cutting the grass? Are you the gardener? Excuse me. Can you take my order? You look like you work here. They're going to assume that you're the help when really you are the children of the Most High God. That's a curse. Nobody should see you and think help is here. They should see you and think these are the children of the Lord. I better act appropriately. I better bring a gift or an offering or speak kindly or favorably, because their God is the real one that wiped out the Egyptians, that sends floods and earthquakes and heart attacks and wildfires, that kills and makes alive. unlike the statues that we pray to. You understand? Keep going.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall
There
not
goes the
gather
vineyard
grapes
again.
thereof.
Right. When you see the comma, we got to stop and pause there because that's something that has to be broken down before we go to the rest of the scripture. So thou
Come
shalt
on, come.
plant a vineyard. You're building a house, but it's not for you. You're planting a vineyard to grow crops, just like our Latino brothers, and shall not gather the grapes thereof. It's not for you to eat. You won't get to eat these. You're going to work and get to work with food that you can't eat. Like that's a punishment. Imagine starving and you work in the field in the food all day, but you can't eat the food and you hungry and you have to work with food that you cannot eat, that you can't feed your children with. You understand? It's like that's a punishment from the Lord. Give me verse 36.
Come on, come. Verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee.
Salakia. I did say 36. I did. Salakia. Give me verse 31, Baba Kushar. I didn't mean
Come on,
30.
come.
Go ahead.
Verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. Who knows what this is talking about? They made a football team about it. A famous historical figure, a great American figure. Who knows what this is talking about? Officer Yaba Carter, you know what this is talking about?
La, sir.
Say it again.
La, sir.
Well, the first word you're saying is breaking up. All I hear is sir.
La, la.
All right, no sweat. I don't know what you're saying. Right, it's right here. Make this image nice and large. It's right here. Thine ox shall be violently taken away. Can anybody see with this? Y'all see this here? Who knows what this is a pile of? Might not be able to see it too good. That might not be a good picture. Let me see if I can get you a better picture. This is a biblical prophecy. This man right here, this man right here is an animal. His name was Buffalo Bill. William F. Buffalo Bill Cody. Buffalo Bill was known as Buffalo Bill because they hunted the plains buffalo almost to near extinction. The Plains Indians, the Gadite tribes that lived in the plains, the flat land, where the buffalo used to roam, where they would go and unalive tens of thousands of them every single day. These are the mountains of skulls that the oppressor collected as he slaughtered the buffalo. That's right, sister. Buffalo. There we go. Not sure. Salakia. Buffalo Massacre. That's right, Azarkar. That's right. That's right, Raya. Buffalo hides. Buffalo, bison, and the bills. That's right, sisters. Buffalo. There you go. The buffalo. That's correct. The sisters are hand. Damn right, sisters. All right. Well, this is what they did. They massacred the buffalo. They did it to starve the Gadites that lived in the plains to death so that they had no food supply, no trading material, and they would just slaughter them and leave their carcasses to rot. By the millions, they slaughtered them. That was a curse from the Lord, illustrating literally what happened to the tribe of Gad. That the colonists, the settlers, you understand, the United States Army, they slaughtered the buffalo. They slaughtered the buffalo. All right. Yabakar, your camera went out there. You understand? They slaughtered the buffalo. All right, Most High in Christ, Shalom, Shalom, whoever that is there. Officer Yabakar, you look like your sound went out again. What's going on here? What we got? All right. It's like, what's going on? All right. Salute. What? Okay. All right. All right, no sweat. Okay, so what we got here? All right, so this is what the Lord is talking about. All right. Bear with me just a moment. Okay. Now, all right. Bear with me just a moment. Oh, they're having some difficulty. Hold on. All right. Where we at here? All right, so that's what the scriptures is talking about. All right. So when the Bible says here, thy sons, it says here, thy ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. It says, thine ass, thy donkey shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. That's why the oppressor has all of these items now. The oppressor has all of these animals now. We never got them back. We never got our horses back. We never got our oxen back. Now they own the buffalo and the beef companies. They didn't have beef or buffalo when they left Europe, but they have it now. They didn't get it because their own doing. They got it because they took it from Issachar and Gad, whose land they stole. Like these are the things here in the Bible that the scriptures are talking about. You understand? And it says, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Our enemies have taken our sheep. You understand? The fruit of thy land, all thy labors. This is what the scriptures are talking about in verse 33. 32 says, thy sons and daughters, it's alive, ended. Thy sons and daughters shall be given unto another people. This is immigration customs enforcement. This is, sons and daughters given to another people. This is the transatlantic slave trade. This is all of those things here Like that's what's happened. All of these things have been happening to us. All right. All of these things happening to us here. These are biblical prophecies, and they are still happening. They aren't taking away Hamites. They aren't taking away the Arabs. They aren't taking away the Iraqis and Afghans and all of them. Um, the Iraqis, the Afghans, all of them, they aren't taking them away and putting them out the country. They're taking away Latinos and putting them out. They aren't talking about these are the children of the Taliban and these are the children of the racist Ukrainians with swastikas all in Europe that's being put out of there. This is who came over during the Ukraine war. They're not talking about any of those, but they do use the media as though every single Venezuelan is a member of Tren de Aragua. Every single Venezuelan is a Venezuelan prison gang member. Like every Venezuelan is a member of this damn gang. Every single Central American is MS-13. We caught 2 violent MS-13 criminals. There would be no MS-13 if not for the United States of America starting the civil wars in Latin America during the 50s, during the 60s. They started that to kill off the rest of the natives that lived on that land so that they could steal the same fruits and vegetables that are in your grocery store today from Dole and Del Monte and Tropicana. You understand? That's how they got it. And that's why they're in the fields picking these fruits and vegetables. This is identifying them. So we're going to skip down for time's sake and hit a couple of scriptures. We'll try to wrap this up so you're not here too long. No sweat. You two are about, go ahead. All right. Thy sons and daughters shall be given to another people. Thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thy hands. You won't have the strength to save them. You won't have the strength to save them. Like that's what the Lord says. Like this is identifying who the children of God are talking about. Every other people is able to get free. The Darfur Civil War, the war in all the other places, all of those people got free. Tibet, free Tibet. Tibet is doing fine. Blacks and Latinos are not. The Tibetans are not getting deported from America. ICE has never raided a carryout or a curry spot yet. You understand? Because they're not hunting our people. Like that's what the Lord said. The fruit of thy land, meaning the fruits and vegetables and resources of the land where you live. While Latino and West Indian brothers and sisters live, they don't get to enjoy the bananas and the oranges and coconuts and mangoes because an oppressor is stealing all the soursop and the noni fruit. They're stealing all of it, the wealth from their fish and their snapper. They stealing the wealth from the resorts, from the cruise liners, from the paddle boats, from the bananas. Bananas only grow a few places in the world. That's how it was. And they're stealing it, exporting the seeds, exporting the fruits. They're taking everything. These things only happen to our people. All thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed forever. Like this is what the Lord is talking about. Verse 35 talks about having bad back and bad knees and pain in your legs and pain in your feet. How many black people you know that's got knee pain and back pain and feet pain and your feet hurting and your back hurting? All these kind of things. The aunt, the uncle, the friend with the bad. The Lord said in verse 35, the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, and from the sole of thy foot to the top of thy head. Like this is what the Lord is talking about. You understand? The Lord said in verse 36, we would serve the gods of wood and stone. That's Islam and Christianity. You understand? Like these are biblical prophecies right here. Verse 37 says, and thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword. That's why the identity is a byword. When they're talking about the migrants, that's a byword to describe our Latino brothers. the illegals, the day laborers, the landscapers, the gardeners. That's a byword to describe our people. The urban community, the hip hop community, the Black Americans, the Black people, the foundational Black Americans. You understand? That's the gangs, the gangs, the gangs, the gangs. That's to describe our people. It's a byword. The welfare queens, even though most of the oppressors are on welfare and not our people, that's a byword. The Indian. Indian is not a race. It just means savage. Like they call the Plains Indians, the native Indians, it means savage. And they take and make mascots out of Native Americans, like the Washington Redskins, the Cincinnati Reds. You understand? The Cleveland Indians, the Cincinnati Reds, the Florida State Seminoles, the Tomahawks, the Atlanta Braves. All of those things are proverbs and bywords. You understand? Like the Navajo. Navajo is not the name of the Diné people. They don't call themselves Navajo. The oppressor called them Navajo. You understand? So this is what the Lord is talking about. And then we're going to get the biggest ones. Deuteronomy chapter, you understand, chapter 64. And it said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. The transatlantic slave trade scattered us all across the world. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even of wood and stone. That's that Christianity. The wooden cross is the god of wood, and the god of stone is Islam, the Kaaba stone in Mecca, which every good Muslim is required to circle once in their life. In order to be a good Muslim, when they make their Hajj to Mecca. Verse 65, the Lord said, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, amongst the East Indians, amongst the Asians, you understand, amongst the Arabs, amongst the Africans, amongst the Europeans, we would find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Like our people don't get rest because of these other nations. That's why when Christ returns, they won't get rest because of us. But the Lord shall give thee there in that place a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, worrying about our life. What's the next step? What are we going to do? You understand? Like these things the Lord said. All right. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. You don't know what's the next step you're going to make, how I'm going to make it, how I'm going to get through. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. I can't wait until nighttime. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. I can't wait until the morning. Why? Because you work in the night shift. You work in the day shift. You want the sun go down. You want the light to come out. You understand? We don't know if we coming or going. For the fear of thine heart, which thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. That's why you come into the truth, to get the spirit of fear off of you, so we can change and get our identity back and rebuild our nation that has the Lord's fence around it. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, a house of bondage, a second time with ships. The first time, for those of you paying attention in the Sabbath service, we went into captivity, or in a house of bondage, Egyptos, which is a Greek word that means bondage or slavery. We went into bondage with ships the first time we physically walked there. And then there arose a new Pharaoh that knew not Moses. That knew not Joseph and all the works that Joseph and his people had done in Egypt. And he made life rough and cruel and harsh for us. And we spent hundreds of years there until the Lord plagued the Egyptians and wiped them out and delivered us. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, for a woman or a man that has a price on our head, and no man shall buy thee. Like that's what the Lord was talking about. We had a price on our head. They see money when they see us. They don't want us to be free and growing and prosperous if they are not doing much better than we are. That's every oppressor. That's not just the oppressor here in America. It's the same for the East Indians in Trinidad and Jamaica, where they rule over our Benjamite brothers. It's the same in Central and South America. It's the same in Europe, where they target the Benjamite and Judite brothers of the Windrush generation that built up all of their economies and things after centuries of slavery. Like, that's what the Lord is talking about. All right. And let's see any more on that. Might end it. See if we got time for Genesis, the 49th chapter. Let me see. All right. Let's see if we got how much we can get in the next 10 minutes, 10 or so minutes. Y'all give me a one. Y'all hang in there. Y'all give me a one. All right. Y'all still in there. We can hit Genesis, the 49th chapter. If not, we might be able to do it the next time. Y'all still in there? Y'all give me some ones. Y'all let me know. All right. We got 1-1. Tower Bob, quick on the draw. All right. We get some more already in there. You got some ones. The ones is coming in. All right. All right. We got some ones. We got, all right. The ones is coming through. All right. All right. Let's get it on. All right. We getting the ones. So let's get some more of our identity. Genesis, the 49th chapter. All right. We're gonna get in there. All right. Genesis chapter 49. The water. All right. All right. No sweat. Genesis chapter 49. All right. So now, these are the rest of the stereotypes that is going to identify who the children of Israel are. All right. These are things recorded in the Bible. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. Our forefather Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, he is about to die. He's had a long life. He's raised up sons and children and everything. He found out that his youngest boy is still alive, who he thought was dead. Now he's going to give the final prophecies to determine what's going to happen to his children in the later days. Because his time is over. You understand? And Jacob called his sons and said, gather yourselves together. Everybody get around. I need to talk to y'all, that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days. Like, we are a special people. No other nation of people has a God that has given their forefathers the ability to tell them the truth and the future of what's going to happen in your life. Like, they don't know. They praying to statues. They dipping their babies in cow feces and drinking elephant piss, putting their head up a cow's behind. They don't know what the hell is happening. They whipping elephants and praying to the elephants. Their villagers starving to death while they pray to a cow. They got, the stake is dressed up like a deity as the Brahma bull, not eating the cow. They malnourished and starving to death and got, 2,000 pounds of meat, just walking around destroying stuff, because that's one of their gods. Well, verse 2, he said, gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto your father Israel. Listen to me. He's going to run down the list of his sons. Reuben, thou art my firstborn. The first son is Reuben. Reuben, or Ra'al, born in the Hebrew, he is the father of the Seminoles, the so-called Seminole Gadite tribes, the Seminole Indians, not Gadites, but the Native Americans of the Seminoles down in the Florida, the lower Georgia region, the tribe of Reuben. You understand? I believe the Cherokee is also of the tribe of Reuben as well, known as the Seminoles as well. the actual ones. Everybody confused about who's a Cherokee now. Most people just assume that the tribe of Gad unless they know for sure if you are a Gadite. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn and my might. Your firstborn son, that's your strength, because that firstborn son is going to continue your legacy. You can do things with the son you cannot do with the daughter. Your daughter will build up another man's house. Your son will continue your lineage. Your daughter cannot bring you back in a few generations. Your son's son's son can bring you back into the earth again as their son. That's how it works. And the beginning of my strength. This is when I become strong in the earth, because now I have a son that I can do so many things and be mighty in the earth with a son. That's why the other cultures of people around the world, the Asians, the Arabs, they value a son more than a daughter. You understand? We are not one of those people. We are not one of those nations. Our daughters, our princesses are extremely important. But the head of the woman is the man. They're important, but not equal. There is no such thing as equality. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a place. You understand? Equality is a fairy tale movie that gets you destroyed. You understand? The excellency of dignity. Saying that because out of all the tribes, the tribe of Reuben never officially signed any treaty with the United States of America. They never signed any treaties to say to America that, we're going to make a deal and go live on reservations. They never signed a treaty with America. The Gadite tribes allegedly did. Many of them say they didn't sign a treaty either. The white man just lied and started killing everybody, which is what he normally does. But many of them did sign a treaty. Lots of them got double crossed. They were thrown into prison, just like Toussaint Louverture in Haiti. He signed a treaty with the French after successfully defeating and expelling them from Haiti. And then the French turned around, threw him in prison, and he died in prison. Should have never trusted them. You understand? So now he says this is and the excellency of power, unstable as water, very unstable. Thou shalt not excel. The tribe of Reuben is not excelling, very unstable, because this is why thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then thou defilest it. He went up to my couch, because this son, Reuben or Rehoboam, had sex with his brother's wife, with his father's wife, one of his father's concubines. He had sex with one of his father's wives, which you are not allowed to have sex with your father's wife. That is why he is unstable as water, and he is not allowed to be the head tribe, even though he is the oldest son. There is a blessing that is supposed to fall to the oldest son. He was stripped of being the one to be in charge of the nation because of his actions, even though he is the oldest son. All right. So that's the tribe of Reuben, or the Rehoboam, the Seminole Indians. Verse 5, Simeon, Shemaiwan, and Levi, Loyah, are brethren. They're brothers. Simeon and Levi are brothers. The so-called Dominicans are Simeon or Shemaiwan, and Levi, the Haitians or Loyah, are brethren. They live together. They're put together this way because they too live together on an island that was once called Hispaniola. You understand? That island today comprises both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And they still have a huge beef today between the Dominican Republic and Haiti, largely because the Dominican Republic is viewed as the white, more pleasant side of the island, where the oppressors are not fighting to destroy a seemingly black people. You understand? Because the Haitians, the vast majority, are more of a dark people, and they expelled the French, who were the slave captors, and they forced them to pay for expelling the French ever since. They had to pay reparations to all the white nations, even though they were under French only, because it set a bad precedent and it made the oppressor look bad by losing a war to the slaves. You understand? So when they talk about this is 2025, it's in the past, and all of this here, it's not in the past. They're still suffering from it very much. So those of you can see a picture of the map. This is what it looks like. This is a picture here, the Dominican Republic and Haiti. All right. This is what it is. They're connected together. It says they are brethren. Right here. They're brethren. Right here. Connected together on one island. Puerto Rico is a little bit past the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Cuba is a little bit before the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And right above here, you got Florida. All right. Which is slightly off the map. Everybody should be able to see that. All right. So now, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Instruments of cruelty is talking about voodoo and Santeria. Voodoo is a religion that is specifically designed to hurt people. You said nothing is sharing. Were y'all able to see it or not? Sister said nothing was sharing. Y'all see it now? Y'all give me a, let me know if y'all seeing it. Y'all able to see this here? Shalak. If y'all don't see it, let me know. La nobody see it. La y'all ain't seeing it. I be damned. Nobody see it. Sharon here. La nobody seeing it. Well, why am I seeing it? I see it. Let's try to see it. Oh, made me big. It's blurry. Okay, it's blurry. Well, how come Azara Khan is the only one that see a little bit of it? Everybody else said no. Azara Khan got better vision than the whole camp. All right. Let me see what I can do here. All right. Let me see. It just popped up. Okay. The map is small. Okay. It was big a second ago. All right, hold on. All right, what about now? It's big. The map is small. I tell you what. What about now? Is it bigger? Nothing there. Well, damn. We don't even seeing nothing. Can't see nobody. All right. Everybody look up a picture of the map. I can only see it when it's small. Okay. Can only see. All right. Y'all know where it is. Y'all go and look it up. Y'all can look it up at any time. Y'all know where it is. All right. There we go. Well, I see me now. Okay. Well, the Israelites. Okay, there we go. All right, no sweat. So we're gonna keep moving. Voodoo and Santeria, instruments of cruelty, are in their habitations where they live. They learn. They have religions that is specifically designed to hurt people, to poison people. This ain't about the good of God and love and sweet kindness and salvation. This is about poisoning and hurting people. You understand? That's what it's talking about. Known for Santeria, known for voodoo, all kind of witchcraft that they learned from the other nations of people. Verse 6, it says, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united. Don't let them be joined together. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. They destroyed a wall and they unalived a man. This was a Hamite prince. Coping with losing your integrity in the scripture very briefly. All right. It says the solution, Officer Carson, part of the solution to the curses coping without losing your integrity in the scriptures very briefly is number one is coming into the truth, building up the truth, building up camps and schools all over the nation. That's the solution. Gathering ourselves together, gather ourselves together, get in the ISUPK fishing, getting on the street teaching camps, raising up brothers and sisters, and that fixes everything around us. We have a lot of resources as a nation of people, and these resources are all squandered into the hands of people that should not have them. And the more brothers and sisters come into the truth, the more we take these resources and put them into the hands of who the Lord appointed to lead, which you'll see soon in Virginia, like you'll see in other cities, like in Houston and like in St. Louis, is the food programs and the resources that have been allocated to Christian churches and all of these groups that keep failing, all the counseling positions that can't fix brothers and sisters and stop them from getting high and deal with all of their problems. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. The Lord is not with them. The Lord is with the UPK, and the officers in here are being raised up with power and trained how to fix all the problems. The real problem is we don't have brotherhood and sisterhood. Life would be so much better if you went to slave somewhere and all the brothers and sisters were looking out for each other, even though we were in captivity. You understand? Brothers and sisters can make each other's day absolutely wonderful. You understand? Imagine if you went somewhere and instead of brothers fighting and arguing over parking space, like, hey man, I know you usually coming late. Make sure you go ahead and clock in, man. You better hurry up. Don't be late. We save you this parking space because I know you usually get in late. We made sure you were able to park close to the building so you could get in because you're usually in a rush. Hey, listen, man, we checked this out here. We noticed, you ain't looking eating too good. So we went and got together, get some breakfast for you, get some grub on your stomach, man. You understand? You go to school, the kids fighting each other, struggling. Hey, listen, man, I see your shoes was kind of messed up. We pitched in some of this money here, got you a couple of pairs of shoes. We got you a coat. You understand? We got the food program now. We out here feeding brothers and sisters twice a week in the city. They robbing, trying to get something to eat. We got food out here. We giving away clothes and coats out here. You understand? Instead of sitting in a church with $1 million in the bank account while everybody around you starve and you live good. This is the solution. It is a battle and it's warfare. And the boy, like Commander General Yohana say on this commercial for the Passover, you suffering to build up something for your brothers and sisters. You doing the solution by coming into the truth. That other brothers and sisters, like I said, I came into the truth. It was about 50 people. Well, none of y'all here. And all we did was go back and forth to court. We went back and forth with internal affairs, filing complaints against the police, harassing us, trying to stop the camps, battled the Muslims, battled the Christians, battled the drug dealers, the Jehovah's Witnesses, people threatening us, trying to get into fights with us in the camp. You understand? People touching, getting their hands hurt with the spikes. We blazing on people in Baltimore, in here, in DC, in Times Square, fighting with this, battling Egyptology, getting put out the house, getting, losing homes, losing jobs. And guess what? In due season, now brothers and sisters like yourselves is able to come in and get your identity. A couple of years ago, you didn't know who you were. Our people was in the world being Christians and Muslims without an identity, without a nation. Now, a couple of years later, brothers and sisters in here getting counseling, getting life figured out, learning the scriptures, fighting to build up their nation. Just think what is going to be built up in a couple more years. We're about to get to school. Just think of the brothers and sisters that's going to have more of an opportunity to change their lives before they die in the streets like so many brothers and sisters did. The solution is fixing your brother and being best equipped to deal with the problems that your brothers and sisters have. That fixes the nation. That's how we get the kingdom of heaven. And besides, Donald Trump is doing an excellent job in destroying America. He destroyed his government. He destroying his cabinet. He destroying the very people that fight to keep his secrets. He don't know what he's doing. He trying to avoid World War II while simultaneously pushing America to civil war. It's unstoppable. In a minute, the Lord gonna give us the power to heal the sick, the power to cast out demons and curses. We already got brothers taking classes, becoming guidance counselors, doing all kind of stuff in counseling. Brothers and sisters' lives is getting changed every day. You might not see the actual effect, just like the generals used to say to us decade ago. You might not see it, but brothers and sisters is hearing what's being said and hearing what's being taught in these classes, and they looking and they changing their lives, and they turning against what they've been taught, and now they're gonna start to come into the truth. And lo and behold, here you brothers and sisters are. You understand? That's the solution. You understand? So where we at? In 42, let's get some more. Let's try to speed through the rest of these in Genesis, the 49th chapter. All right. The Lord said, "Will scatter and separate them. He did not want them to live together, and now they live together on an island." Simeon and Levi. Verse 7. "Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce." One of the heathen had S.A.'d the sister Diana. Diana was Jacob's daughter. She's in there. The heathen loved her and wanted to marry her so much that he did what a heathen does. They kidnapped her, ended up forcing the sister to have sex with him. The S.A. the sister. Simeon and Levi found out. The heathen then went back to the father and say, "Hey, I love your daughter. I want to marry her. Give me her hand in marriage, and our two families going to be together, and you're going to share our riches and our wealth, and I'm going to get your beautiful daughter," because that's how a heathen operates. They just snatch her up and force her. Well, Simeon and Levi wasn't hearing a damn thing about that. They went and got together and told them they all had to be circumcised in order to be a part of our family, which they cannot be. And then while they were circumcised and sore, as grown men having the foreskin cut off their rods, which is our custom as a covenant with the Most High, as everyone sore with their rods hurting from getting circumcised, Simeon and Levi came through with a squad and killed hundreds of them while we lived in their land because they had violated our system. You understand? Nah. And this is what happened. This is what Jacob is talking about. Let them not live together. Of course, now Simeon and Levi live together on the island of Hispaniola, which is Haiti in the Dominican Republic. Verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, the tribe of Judah, so-called African Americans, now the foundational Black Americans. I don't know what the hell a Judite is called now in the world. You understand? Thou art whom thy brethren shall praise. Judah is the head tribe of all the 12 tribes. King David is from Judah. Christ is from Judah. This is the head tribe. Every tribe follows Judah. If Judah sells drugs, all nations sell drugs. Judah wears skinny jeans, turn to alternative lifestyle, all the tribes going to take it. Judah wear his pants sagging, wear his hat backwards. Judah start rapping, everybody rapping. Judah starts smoking weed, everybody smoking weed. If Judah turns back and serves the Lord, everybody will turn back and serve the Lord. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. The black man has always been closest in his fight to the oppressor, to the white man. Always been right here with the black man and Esau, all throughout the 60s, all in the prisons, all everywhere. We've always been neck and neck fighting with Esau because Jacob is the head tribe. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee because the head of the nation is Judah. Judah is a lion's whelp, a young lion from the prey, away from hunting and conquering, being a lion. My son, thou art gone up. We didn't stop fighting. We didn't give up the drugs and skinny jeans and cocaine and weed and alternative lifestyle and niggas painting their nails now and wearing, dresses and being feminine and doing ditty parties and, having sex with men and get pegged, apparently, all kind of madness. You understand? He stooped down and crouched as a lion. Like a lion looked like he gonna hunt and ready to stalk. And as an old lion, he ain't got the fight in him no more. He ain't hunting and prowling and roaring. And that's what happened to our people. We were strong in the 60s. 70s and 80s, full of power and strength. And then we integrated and got on drugs and cut our beard and braids off. And now we done just got stepped on. You understand? That's what the scriptures is talking about, what would happen to us in the last days. That's where we are now. The scepter, the rulership, or the law giving of the nation shall not depart from Judah. Christ sits on the throne of King David. He's a Judite, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Judah is always going to be in charge of running the nation until Shiloh, or peace, which is talking about Christ, comes, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. All the nations, all the tribes are going to gather to Christ, binding his foal, his horse, unto the vine. It's talking about drinking grapes again. And his ass colt, his young horse, unto the choice vine, the best wine, the best grapes, the best wine, the best liquor, the best Hennessy, the best strong. He washed his garments in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Talking about drinking. His eyes shall be red with wine. Christ, in the prophecy in Revelation, the whites of his eyes were red as fire. This is about the tribe of Judah. That's also in Revelations 1 and 15 and 14. All right. And his teeth white with milk. You understand? We raise sheep, we raise goat, we raise cattle, we had our own milk. Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea. Talking about the Panama Canal. It's the haven where all the ships will get rest. That's the Panama Canal. Donald Trump trying to take the Panama Canal back from Panama right now as we speak. All our Central American tribes is the tribe of Zebulon. El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, you understand, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Panama. And he shall be for a haven of ships. That's the Panama Canal. His border shall be unto Zidon. Zidon was our land in the Middle East that was filled with ships, full of merchants, traveling goods across the water from the other nations. You understand? That's the same thing. Issachar is a strong ass, a small donkey full of power. That's the symbol of Issachar, is the donkey, couching down between two burdens, always working, always leaving a job to do another job. And he saw that rest was good. In Mexico, they have something called a siesta, where around lunchtime, most of the country goes to sleep after lunch. They take a nap. It's called a siesta. You could look that up on your own. And the land, that it was pleasant. They were good at working the land. That's why they're in landscaping and yard working, and they're in the field picking vegetables to fill up your grocery stores. You understand? This is a prophecy about the tribe of Issachar. It's biblical. That's why they're in the field working, picking crops, filling the grocery stores. How many of y'all knew all of this? Y'all give me a 12 if y'all knew this. It's describing who the children of God are, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant to tribute. He became a servant to work because he'll work for little to no money. And they're known for working for very low wages and doing a great deal of work, because Issachar is a work horse. You understand? That's the stereotype and the good and the bad about our tribes. Y'all let me know if y'all recognize any of these. All right. It says, Dan, the tribe of Dan shall judge his people. Dan means judge, or Don. As one of the tribes of Israel, this is the tribe that was very small, that had very few sons. So that tribe eventually got replaced by Levi because it was so small, he did not have enough sons. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, a snake off to the cut, an adder, which is a dangerous, poisonous desert snake, in the path, that biteth the horse's heels, so that the rider shall fall backward. You're not going to know the tribe of Dan is there because they're so small. They've been dissolved into other larger tribes. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, the tribe of Gad is the Native American Indians. The rest of the native tribes, the North American Indian, a troop shall overcome him. Troop means a military cavalry or regiment. That troop was the United States Army that overcame the tribe of Gad. But he shall overcome at the last. When Christ returns, the Gadites will overcome, with all the tribes getting justice against them. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. All the oil with the tribe of Asher in Brazil and Colombia and Bolivia and Venezuela. His bread shall be fat. Tons of royal dainties. All the oil and the precious fruits and things that grow down in South America. The silver and the gold mines and the silver mines and the diamond mines all down in South America that the Europeans came and stole. You understand? That they're trying to steal more. That's why they're up against Venezuela so hard, starving them to death under Maduro. Naphtali is a hind let loose. You understand? The brothers from Argentina and Chile. He giveth goodly words, runs always in that soccer, running, dealing with that soccer, you understand, like a wild deer, full of stamina, full of energy, and giveth goodly words, always speaking kind and flattering words. Joseph is talking about Ephraim. The tribe of Joseph is the father of Ephraim and Manasseh, the so-called Puerto Ricans, and Manasseh, the so-called Cubans, is a fruitful bow. It's a tree that has many branches. There's tons. Puerto Ricans are known for having tons and tons of children. Even a fruitful bow, a fruitful tree with a lot of branches by a well. They grow very well because they're by a water source whose branches run over the wall. They're able to mix amongst the other nations because many of them are very light skinned. They come in all different shades of skin colors. You understand? The archers have grieved him sorely and shot at him and hated him. They've hated the Puerto Ricans. They've hated the Cubans. You understand? And his bow abode in strength, very strong. And the arms of his hand were made strong by the hands of the almighty power of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. You understand? Let's see. Genitives, Joseph, the crown of his head. All right. They shall be on the head of Joseph, on the crown of his head. He was separate from his brethren. It's just talking about how the northern and the southern kingdom ended up getting split up. How the tribe of Ephraim is known for having many, many children. You understand? That's verse 26. 27. Benjamin, to try the West Indian brothers and sisters. Benjamin shall raven as the wolf. So loud and roaring as the wolf. You understand? You hear that in most of their music, roaring and howling. You understand? In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night shall divide the spoil, always providing, giving to their family, sending money back to their family. Benjamin, very much known for that. Work like a Jamaican is the phrase they used to say. All of these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is that their fathers spake unto them and blessed them every one according to his blessing. He have blessed them. All right, so he told what was happening to his sons, and in verse 33, he gave up the ghost. His spirit left him, and now he was gone. All right, so that's what's happening there. All right, so that's what's happening. All right. Should be one more. Let me get this here. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Let me just get this here talking about Ephraim of the same tribe of Ephraim. Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8, the same tribe of Ephraim. It also talks about them coming in different shades, a great difference. Like the so-called Puerto Ricans, really all the tribes, but really with the Puerto Ricans, the tribe of Ephraim, you cannot very much tell who is or is not a Ephraimite because they can be they're known to be very, very light skinned, almost looking like an oppressor, and then also being very, very dark as well from the exact same tribes. It said he had mixed himself amongst the people because he's able to blend in and look just about like everybody. You understand? Ephraim is a cake that's not flipped over. You bake a cake on one side, the side that's to the pan is very dark. It's got different layers. And then you get the top side that's exposed, might be very yellow, very light, and it's the exact same cake. So that's what it's talking about there. We're way up over the time. The water for y'all sticking in there. That's the breakdown for the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. and the curses or the prophecies that would identify us there. Captain NATAZACH did an excellent lecture. That was about 4 hours, the 12 tribes breakdown. You can see it all in very much more details. You understand, to get more information. We're going to end it there. The water for y'all tuning in with that. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If you're not in the UPK, you're not in the truth. Rule for new brother and sister. Brother and sister comes into the school. They're off limits for 6 months. It'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves with the world. After this 6-month period, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they get counsel from the head to speak to a brother or sister. After this 6-month period, if approved, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment from the Most High. 10% of any penny of any increase the Most High gives to you, give to the school. Go to isupk.com. Right there. Upcoming holy convocations. You have Purim, which is coming up in March. You'll be notified soon. Everybody, make sure you contact the UPK school wherever you are. Then, after Purim, you have the Lord's 56th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia, April the 12th. That's Saturday. Make sure you pay your Passover fee, $200 per brother, per sister, everyone is 17 years and over. The next day after Passover, which is the 13th, that Sunday begins the Feast of Unleavened Bread, remembering how the Lord delivered us from the land of Egypt in captivity, which we are preparing to be delivered from captivity yet again here in the land of the north, as the Bible says. And with that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakathon to the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Lathon by Shem Yahushua to the sisters. Tune in right here, Lashawan Quadash class every Friday, taught by a priest and officer NATAZACH Quran and officer Yaga Dor. With that, Shalom. The water. Most High in Christ. Right?
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're 1 West. They're 1 West. They're 1 West.
Welcome to Atlanta. Price is Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King have honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
Everyone west. Everyone west. Everyone west.
Man, your boy Pastor Troy going all the way up with you, man. You already know. Friday, April 11th at the Atrium. Yeah, man. Doors open at 8 p.m. You already know. We're going from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., man. You already know it's going all the way down. Your boy Pastor Troy, DJ Jelly performing live. And then we getting out there, man, Saturday, yeah, April 12th. It's going all the way down for the Passover. Yeah, man, you already know. At the Marriott Marquis downtown. Yeah, man, we're going from 5 p.m. to midnight. You already know. Hosted by Commander General Johanna. Your boy Pastor Troy going to be in the building, man. Y'all boys holler.
Welcome to Atlanta.
It's going down in Atlanta, Georgia. You're getting ready for the April 12th Passover, hosted by Commander General Johanna, you understand? So we're on our way out here to fly the whole Atlanta, let them know what is going down. So stay tuned. How we do it. The work don't stop. You understand? The work don't stop.
All day, every day.
Still don't know, they're gonna know after tonight. That's right. When you say go, we say go. Pass it, baby. Let's get it. No fighting, ain't no arguing, nothing like that. Nothing but love, right? So if y'all want to be part of that, see what it's all about? Both of y'all are invited to the pass. Okay? So just
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
Everyone west. Everyone west. Everyone west.